What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm out here at the Clear Cut, the old shooting range. It's a great day in Alabama. The weather's good. There's no clouds. A little bit windy, so I apologize if it messes up the audio. But anyway, today we're going to talk about barrel profiles and why I prefer thin barrels in my rifles. All right, so first off, let's talk a little bit about the different types of barrel profiles so we're all on the same page. Probably the most popular is the M4 profile. It's got the thin barrel under the handguard, the little heat shield handguard or the rail, whatever. Then when it gets to the gas port, it gets a little bit fatter, and it maintains that thickness all the way to the muzzle, except for right in front of the gas port. There's a little notch, a little cutout, and that's for the M203 grenade launcher to attach to the barrel on the front end right there. It attaches at the back to the under the handguard or whatever, and then the front it attaches on that little notch right in front of the gas port. The next one is probably like the government profile. That's a pretty popular one, it seems to be. It's kind of like the M4, it just doesn't have the cutout for the 203. It's thin under the handguard, gets a little bit fatter at the gas port, and maintains that thickness all the way out to the muzzle. One of the next most popular is the H bar, heavy barrel. You don't see them as much anymore, but maybe like the past 10 or 20 years, I guess they got popular. Maybe before my time, before I got into shooting. But anyway, it maintains its fat under the handguard, and it maintains that thickness pretty much the entire way, all the way to the muzzle. It stays heavy and thick all the way. Think of like a bull barrel on a bolt gun, how it's just fat all the way down. That's pretty much what an H-bar barrel is. Then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got the pencil barrel, or the thin barrels. I guess pencil barrels is the most popular name for them. They are a little bit thinner under the handguard, and they maintain that diameter all the way to the muzzle. Most of them have like a 625 gas port size, or a gas block size, where the diameter of the barrel where the gas block is. So the standard is like 750, 0.750. And the pencil barrels like this, this is got a Daniel Defense lightweight barrel. It has a 0.625 diameter gas block. So it's thin under the handguard, stays thin at the gas port, and then maintains its kind of pencil barrelness all the way to the muzzle. I would show you this one, but as you can see, it's pretty much fully covered with a 15-inch handguard or rail. All right, so some of the next profiles, you've got some, those are kind of the standards. Then you've got some new ones that are coming out, like Ballistic Advantage. If y'all have watched the channel for any period of time, I like Ballistic Advantage barrels, and I like the Hansen barrel, especially for my SBR. This has a 10.3-inch Hansen. It is kind of in between the heavy and thin. It's not quite as thin as a pencil. It's not near as heavy or thick as the H-bar barrels. It's kind of an in-between. It has its own like profile all the way through. It's not like a government where it is thin here and then gets fat out here past the gas block. It kind of maintains its kind of uniformity, or like it was actually designed to be a certain diameter all the way down. The government ones, to me, I don't know why you'd make it really thin under the handguard and then make it really fat out toward the muzzle. It doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like they didn't plan that very well. But these, like the Hansen, they look like they're planned out very well. I know there's other ones, maybe like Triarch and what's the name of that other one? They make the Bloodline, Roscoe. They make Bloodline barrels. I don't have any experience with those, but just by looking at them, you can kind of tell they've got their own little profiles into them. All right, so now that we're on the same page as far as the different names and lingo, we're going to go over kind of why we would use a thin barrel on a rifle. Mainly it's weight savings. The thin barrels are, a good bit lighter than the heavier ones. Overall, when you've got like a 7-pound rifle, 5-6 ounces might not seem like a lot, but to me it's mainly where that weight is. The weight is all going to be out here on the front, and AR-15s are front heavy anyway, because like the balance point of this rifle is right about there. right about there. And so once you've got the bulk of the rifle right here with the bolt carrier and the mag, there's really nothing back here, because there's a little bitty buffer right here. This is all hollow aluminum and plastic back here. Even like this, the grip's hollow, the sight's plastic. You know, there's not much weight right here, even with the optic. And if you have like a scope, like this one behind me, oh, this one's a good bit heavier. Even if you got a scope, you know, this one I've got kind of set back because I've got a long stock on it, but some of them stick forward a little bit. So that's even more weight, you know, going forward of the center of the rifle. So when you've got it like a heavy barrel, all that weight is going to be on the front. And you know, I'm a kind of a taller guy, so I've got the stock usually extended out pretty good. So the weight is kind of far away from my body anyway. And you know, this one, this end of the rifle has 2 points of contact, shoulder and my hand. So, you know, it can stay pretty secure. This out here, it's going to get heavy and it's going to get tiresome trying to hold an extended arm, all this weight, moving it, holding it, and all that stuff. And especially once you put a light on here, you know, lights aren't super heavy, but you know, you've got like foregrip, a sight, a light. This one has a bipod attachment that I really need to take off of there because I don't really need it anymore. But I mean, even think about like putting the little PEC 15s or D balls, like the IR lasers on the front. That's even more weight out toward the front. So anything we can do to save weight. Oh crap, can't lose my note card. It's got my show notes on it. So anyway, anything we can do to save weight toward the muzzle is a good thing. While we're still on the subject of weight, I went ahead and weighed both of these guns. This is my 16-inch. This is my 16-inch like fighting rifle, I guess, and it weighed, I think it was 7 pounds 6 ounces. I don't know. I'll roll in a picture on the scale. I think it was 7 pounds 6 ounces without a mag. I know there's a mag on the scale, but I zeroed it after that. The mag was just so I could get it level without like hitting the table or whatever, because that scale's kind of thin. But anyway, 7-ish pounds for a full-length 16-inch gun with a rail, a light, optic, all that good stuff. And then my little SBR, the 10.3, like I said, it has the Hansen barrel, so it's not the lightest version of the Hansen. They do have a thin one, pencil barrel, but it's not super heavy. This gun weighed just shy of 7 pounds, I think, maybe 6'11", 6'12", something like that, without a mag, no sling. You know, I try to keep them as similar as possible. They both have micro-ish red dots. They both have similar furniture. They both have the exact same rail. One's just a little bit longer. The 15-inch is probably 3 or 4 ounces heavier. So, you know, like I said, they've got pretty similar lights. That one's got a 2-cell Surefire. This one's got a 1-cell, but this one has a tape switch and cable and whatnot else. So feature-wise, they're pretty much the same. And you know, that just goes to show how light you can make one of these rifles fully outfitted if you use a lighter profile barrel, a thinner profile barrel. And like this one right here, I didn't even weigh this one because it's so much different. It's kind of an apples to oranges. This has a full-length stock, it has a scope, all that stuff. 15-inch rail just like the other one. But I think this one is a government profile. It's kind of uniform diameter through here. It's a rifle length, so the gas block's way out here, and it gets a little fat toward the end. But like I said, this one is a good bit heavier. Even if I take the mag out, it's noticeably heavier than my 16-inch. I know, like some of you might be saying, you know, to cut some weight out, you know, get a shorter handguard, or you know, cut a few ounces off the end by taking the handguard away. Well, let me spend just a second. I made a video about why I use long rails on my rifles, but just kind of a short recap. It lets me mount things farther out because I'm kind of a taller guy. I can get a little bit better, a little further purchase on the rail, so I can get a little more stability on it, and which then again moves my accessories out farther, because the farther you move your hand, the farther the accessories have to go to meet it. So it gives me more room up here to mount things, and it covers the length of the barrel. So if I have to like jam it onto a barricade or an obstacle, I can prop it on there. It's not going to affect the barrel. It's not going to affect the trajectory of the rifle, the bullet, I should say. So yeah, that's why I try to get hand guards all the way out to the end, especially on the shorties, because real estate is a premium. So try to get the longest rail you can on your barrel. So yeah, the main thing is like overall weight. It's kind of a two-factor thing. One is overall weight. You want to cut down as much weight as you can, because you're going to be adding things onto here, and you know, as much weight as you can keep down, the better. And it's the placement of the weight. The weight's all out toward the end anyway, so you might as well try to make the front end of the rifle as light as possible. So the next thing we're going to kind of go over is like why people don't like thin barrels, because they think, you know, the heat dissipation, it's going to get hotter quicker, and the heat's going to distort the barrel a little bit, and it's going to make your shots go off. So that's why, you know, people like the heavy barrels, because they think it's going to give them like more accuracy, or, you know, a longer, you know, barrel life or whatever. But I mean, really, it's not really the case. Yeah, it's less material, so it will heat up a little bit quicker, but it'll also cool off a little quicker. And unless you're shooting like sustained mag dump full auto as fast as you can, you're not really going to heat the barrel up enough to make that even a factor. You know, like even a real life gunfight, you're not going to be mag dumping, you know, mag after mag. You're going to be taking, you know, slow steady shots. You might have to put like 5 or 6 really fast to, you know, break cover or to whatever. But I mean, like I said, that's 5 or 6 shots. The barrel's not going to heat up that fast. So the whole heat dissipation thing is not really an issue. If you don't believe me, James Yeager just put out a video about barrel diameter, thin barrels, and all that stuff. And he kind of talks about the heat dissipation. So if you don't believe me, go watch his video. Maybe you'll believe him. So yeah, just to recap, whenever the boog or the apocalypse hits, or whatever you want to call it, your scenario, we're going to have to be strapping up these rifles and toting them around all day, along with other crap, you know, a bag, a kit, a chest rig, whatever. We're going to have a crap load of weight. We're going to be toting it for a while. So, you know, try to cut down as much weight as possible. And a thin barrel is a good place to do that. You're not going to lose anything. Don't be scared to get a thin barrel. You're not going to be losing anything but weight. You're not going to lose any performance. So, you know, if you're thinking about building your next rifle, or you're thinking about buying one, go for a thin barrel, and you won't be sorry.